I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltration with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltration with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave.
May God be with you. This is not a test.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Disclosure TV News. All right, everyone. Welcome to Disclosure TV News. I hope everybody had a better day than I've had. And first of all, I would like to for everyone to maybe say a prayer or remember the victims of what happened in El Paso, Texas today. So, like I said, if you all don't know what happened there, a shooter, if YouTube lets me say that, a shooter went into a local Walmart and just basically started shooting at random. And he had started outside the building and worked his way inside. He left the scene, and they found him walking down the road carrying the gun he used, and a motorcyclist actually caught that on video. I do have videos of that. Twitter people don't like it very much, and I didn't put up anything that would cause people to not like it, but they didn't like it anyway. And so I do have a video of that, and if you all go under my YouTube channel and look, there's a video there of what actually happened. I'm gonna take that video down, but I want people to know what happened. And if you don't understand what Disclosure TV is, Disclosure TV isn't biased one way or the other. They're not pro-gun or anti-gun, if I can say that. So that's not what it's about. And Disclosure TV is about showing the truth and showing people what happens on a daily basis. So like I said, I'd like everybody to take a minute to pray for them any which way you want to. It doesn't matter. You know, it don't matter what religion you are. And I'm not going to press religion on anybody. Actually, I used to go to church, and my dad was a preacher, and so was my uncle. What we're going to be looking at today is, I could do a video about what happened in El Paso, but I'm not going to right now. So what I'm going to do is do a video, a live stream on something I think is important. And the reason it's important is because people are taking this as a mixed message, and they're not quite understanding what's going on. People are reading the headline, and they're reading what the FBI has said, but they're not reading the actual document that was part of all of this. So what's going on is the FBI, or I'm sorry, not the FBI. The FBI has not made a statement on this at all. So what happened was a news media outlet somehow randomly got a document from the FBI in the FBI field office in Arizona. The document was printed out the 30th of May 2019, and the FBI did not release this document, so they said, so it magically appeared in the press. And like I said, they haven't made a statement on this document. And I've contacted the FBI myself, and I'm waiting on them to get back to me because I asked a lot of questions about it, such as how did the media end up with the document they didn't release? So I want to tell you about what this document is. You're looking at the document. It's 15 pages, a PDF of 15 pages, and some of it is the same, some of it's not. And I'm going to show you where people are getting the wrong idea and why the media thinks that the FBI is actually calling conspiracy theorists, Q believers, and truthers domestic terrorists. And that was the actual point of the document, was for the public to believe that. So that's what you're seeing. What you're seeing is a type of reverse psychology, which is what the CIA and the FBI is good for. So, first of all, for you to know what's going on about a document that's been released, is that first of all, the FBI didn't release a document, and if they did, they would put it on their website, and they would say they released it. Second of all, for the FBI to label an organization or any organization as a terrorist, as a T word, sorry, I shouldn't say that because I'm gonna get blocked. I know I will. As a domestic T word, or even as a T word in general, they have to, the executive branch of the government has to actually deem that or put that order through, just like T-Man did a few months ago, where he labeled the IRGC a T group. So a lot of people don't read the news, and that's part of what I do. Is I give a common sense view to the news, and I have great investigative skills, and I call bullshit where I see it. So let's get into this, and I won't try to make it too long so everybody can see it. So that's why I made my intro shorter. So anyway, let's get into it, and let me show you what it says. So what you're looking at, if you can see it, you should be able to see it. So what it says is unclassified law enforcement sensitive FBI intelligence bulletin out of the Arizona field office. It doesn't say where else it comes from. It doesn't say if it comes from the headquarters or anywhere else. It just says anti-government identity based and fringe political conspiracy theories very likely motivated some domestic extremists to commit criminal, sometimes violent activity. So, first of all, I'm going to skip a minute, and I want you to see what the FBI labels as what their definition of conspiracy theorist is. Let me find it. So I'm going to go down to Appendix A, Section U, Appendix A. It says defining conspiracy theories. First of all, it says, although many conspiracy theories appear benign or inconsequential, others create serious risks. Throughout history, such conspiracy theories have fueled prejudice, witch hunts, genocide, and acts of terror. In the context of domestic terror, extremists often view the activities of alleged conspirators as existential threat that can only be stopped through drastic or even violent means. The definitions and notes below are meant to inform discussions within law enforcement as they relate to potentially harmful conspiracy theories and domestic extremists. So, what a conspiracy theorist is: an attempt to explain events or circumstances as the result of a group of actors working in secret to benefit themselves at the expense of others. Well, that first part is true. Conspiracy theories typically allege wrongdoing by powerful others, for example, public officials, business executives, scientists, or societally marginalized groups. For examples, I'm not going to say that word because either one of those, you can see them, starts with an M and a J, and are most prevalent among individuals with extreme political views. That part I disagree with. And I'm actually going to show you what all this document, how they came to acquire all of this knowledge that you're seeing here. So some conspiracy theories point to weak circumstantial evidence. That's some of that, that's true, that some does. And that's what makes some people like who think there's something wrong in every single event of the day. There's a conspiracy, and there's not. And sometimes there's more evidence to things than what you see. And some of them just put a little evidence there just so the people who saying it can get attention, basically. But some conspiracy theorists point to weak circumstantial evidence but ignore stronger evidence that would refute their claims. Consequently, they are usually at odds with official or prevailing explanation of events. While a conspiracy theory refers to an allegation that may or may not be true, a conspiracy is a true causal chain of events. Real conspiracies involving illegal, anti-democratic, or harmful activities by high-level government officials and political elites have been exposed in the past, and it has been argued that such plots have encouraged conspiracism in society. Now, what they're saying is they are correct. I would say a good 90 a good 85% of conspiracy theories over the since the Roswell landing, I'm going to say since the Roswell landing, have been proven true. And how that in turn makes somebody a conspiracy theorist doesn't make them a conspiracy theorist. That's just a person who saw the truth while somebody else was lying. And that's why people are labeled conspiracy theorists. That's why things are labeled conspiracy theories, is because basically you're not going to let anybody fool you into believing what's going on is what's going on, because you see with your own eyes what's going on. And to me, legit evidence, when I base my evidence on something or a conspiracy theory, my evidence has to be at least, I have to have at least 70%, at least a good 70% worth of valuable true evidence to make something legit. And that's just for conspiracy theories alone. And I'm talking about UFOs, Planet X, flat Earth, all that. And I don't believe in flat Earth. People do. I don't know why, because there's not enough proof for that. Not even enough to get it to 30%. And that's just the way things are. But Planet X, I'm not going to talk about Planet X or the planet that they found, because recently NASA scientists have found new dwarf planets in our solar system where Earth is, and they're in between Mars and Jupiter. And what they found, four there, I think. Yeah, 4. So finding another planet that's having an effect on Earth, I can't dismiss that. And basically what I see on Planet X News, I watched Planet X News for a year before I decided there was enough evidence to prove that Planet X exists. And I did. And hey guys, I'm American Patriot. What's up? Brian Woodring, what's up? So I wanted to give you all that the FBI is acknowledging that conspiracy, that there's a lot of evidence that proves real conspiracies happened and illegal. There is. And as I've said before, which people don't listen to, a good 70, 75%, 85% of the conspiracies have been proven true over the last 70 or 80 years. The only one I don't know of that hasn't been proven true is JFK. And with all the information that's given out about JFK, eventually the government's going to have to come clean, but I doubt that's the only thing they're not going to come clean about. So anyway, going on, relying on the premise that nothing happens by accident. Well, when you have extreme conspiracy theorists who think that constantly, it gives the people who have legit theories about things that happen within our government, it makes them look crazy. And that's why they call conspiracy theorists tin hat wearers. So, relying on the premise that nothing happens by accident, nothing as it seems, and everything is connected. Conspiracy theorists tend to view very bad outcome as a result of an intentional decision by an evil actor, dismiss disconforming evidence as fabricated by the conspirators, and connect a wide range of seemingly unrelated occurrences to suggest a larger plot. So, to get past there, I wanted to show you that, but the point of all of this is to show you why the FBI and the government is not that this document isn't what it is. So everybody thinks that the mainstream media thinks that this document is a proof that the FBI is calling everybody domestic tease. So the first thing I want to show you is what they've written and highlighted in a box. It's highlighted in a box in this. So it says source summary statement. The intelligence bulletin draws upon a wide body of reporting derived from other law enforcement agencies, open source information, and documentary sources, human source reporting with varying degrees of access. So the FBI investigations from 15 January 2008 until January 2019. Reporting from other law enforcement agencies and open source information was deemed the most critical in supporting the key analytic judgments in this paper. News articles provided contextual details of various incidents and backgrounds on specific conspiracy theories not contained in law enforcement reporting, while academic publications aided in clearly defining the topic, limiting the scope of the paper and developing the key analytic judgments. So, documentary sources consisting of plea agreements and a court of appeals opinion, and a criminal complaint, and an indictment provided additional details concerning the incidents discussed, including the charges brought against the perpetrators and, in some cases, the conspiracy theory-based motives of their actions. So that section right there is completely saying that they have one court document, one court of appeals, and a person claiming that the individual charged was defined as a conspiracy theorist, and he committed an act because of that conspiracy. He committed an act of violence because of that, and that's just one person. So that's their one source of information. So, going on, the use of reporting derived from human sources and FBI investigations was limited. So the amount of data they had to conclude that conspiracy theorists or Q was a domestic T group, or that they were capable of committing violent acts in the name of conspiracy, basically, is limited. Although these sources did provide intelligence that cooperated open source information, human sources include an established human source, one established human source with indirect access, meaning the FBI contacted a human source that had knowledge about another source. So hearsay. Much of whose reporting since 2014 has been corroborated. A liaison source with indirect access, a limited history of reporting, but had an extensive knowledge of domestic extremist groups throughout the United States, and a member of the public with indirect access. Reporting for the first time whose reliability cannot be determined. The intelligence encompassed within this intelligence bulletin was collected November 1st, 2013 through 30 of 2019 and of current 31, 2019. So basically what they're telling you in this little box is that they based this whole bulletin on hearsay. since when does the FBI do what conspiracy theorists do and base their information on hearsay? Because that's all we have. We have little pieces of information and hearsay that we follow and gather in order to figure out information. And that's what this whole thing is about. That's the reason they put this out. The FBI did not designate conspiracy theorists or the Q group a terrorist. The media came up with that on their own. This document came out of one place. That's it. The FBI hasn't even acknowledged that they had it. So their opinions, as you see in the box right there, are based on hearsay. It reads just as that. And it also reads that the person who they got the information from, the liaison source had indirect access and a limited history of reporting, and had an extensive knowledge of domestic extremist groups. And they were indirect access reporting for the first time. So that's what and people and all the media and everybody is overlooking what the actual document says. And the media made that up. However, the FBI says that what the media is saying is exactly what the FBI is saying. It's just that the information that's within the document is an opinion and not fact. So if you just now got here, basically the FBI made a whole document about making conspiracy theorists domestic T groups is based on basically like three opinions of people who don't even have knowledge of the theories. So basically all their data is hearsay, and that's what you're reading right there. So here is what they are calling. Basically, this is the FBI calling what the media is stating, what the FBI is calling conspiracy theorists. Now, the FBI assesses anti-government, identity-based, and fringe political conspiracy theories very likely motive for some domestic extremists, wholly in part to engage in criminal or violent activity, stating that their whole reason for some of the crimes being committed were because of their views on conspiracy theories or their view on information. Well, the thing is that I don't think I know of a conspiracy theorist, a legit one, that has committed a crime based on the fact that somebody's trying to hide something. I just haven't. So it also says this assessment is based on events in which individuals committed crimes, plotted attacks, or successfully carried out deadly violence, and who either before or after their arrest attributed their actions to their conspiratorial beliefs. These events include instances in which the perpetrators intended to take someone's life, or to take a group's life, identified by such theories as hostile and malevolent, or to simply carry out dangerous, unlawful acts in an effort to draw attention to an exposed perceived conspiracy. So on December 9th, 2018, a California man was arrested after being found in possession of explosive materials, in which the intent of to construct an explosive device, according to information obtained by law enforcement. The individual stated that he planned to travel to Springfield, Illinois, to detonate the device in a satanic temple monument at the Illinois Capitol Rotunda in order to make Americans aware of P-Gate. I'm not going to say that because I'll get blocked. And the New World Order, who were dismantling society. So that's one. And then they had another one in Pennsylvania who entered Tree of Life Synagogue. So I don't think that had anything to do with a conspiracy theory. See, they're adding in a conspiracy theory based on immigration, and conspiracy theorists don't do the immigration crap. They don't do that. So they're adding in information that has nothing to do with conspiracy. I don't know how they even add that in there. So, but I want to show you so basically they have used, S. Hook Elementary School, some guy who entered a Ping Pong Pizza restaurant. So basically these, and that's the other point I'm trying to get to. The FBI is trying to insinuate that that conspiracy theorists are white nationalist or white supremacist, and that's what they're trying to get people to believe. That's why they added all those in there, when actually none of them had anything to do with none of those things had anything to do with conspiracy theorists. There's no conspiracy that I know of for to make America white, or to make another country to come over here and take over the United States. I know of nothing like that. So they're using mass casualty events based on racism to say that those people were conspiracy theorists. Those people were not conspiracy theorists, and the FBI is trying to insinuate they are, and they're not. And that's the point I'm trying to make with this. This whole thing was leaked out on purpose, and it was leaked out to the general public and leaked out to the media in order for people to get the idea that conspiracy theorists are racist, and they're white supremacists, they're discriminating against other people, and that's not the case at all. I don't know of anybody on YouTube that is such a thing. And I don't know of anybody that's part of, that does anything or that. As a matter of fact, most of the people I know ask you to pray for people, and they're older people. You know, they're older people of age, and they have kids and they have families, and all they want to do is let people know information, and that's it. They don't know. They've never told anybody. I don't think I've even heard anybody say anything about hardly about T-Man on the internet, on, you know, wanting to be a supporter of T-Man or anything, because most of them don't care about any of that. Most of them care about the overall condition of the government, period. It doesn't matter who the president is. So that's what the FBI is trying to do here. They're trying to make it seem like conspiracy theorists and Q is related to white supremacists and white nationalists and racist bigotry, hatred, and that's not true. And that's how that's what they're doing in order to combat conspiracy theory. And by leaking this document by the media, in quotations, so-called getting a hold of this document, because the FBI didn't release it. And I guarantee you, once I get my information, my email back from the FBI, they're going to tell me they didn't release it. So basically, they've involved several mass casualty events, well known as part of conspiracy theorists, and that's just not true. So, and all basically, like I said, all this is doing nothing but trying to get people to believe that conspiracy theories they're just a bunch of they're the same people who do bad things that are connected with T-Man. That's all they're trying to do. So like identity-based Zionist occupied government, Islamberg, I don't even know what that is. False flags. Now there are false flag events, and I'm not gonna name it, but there's the biggest one. There's enough evidence to prove that the biggest one in history is the government. The information they gave you is basically a lie. And the information gathered is coming from the United States government's own generals and own commanders, saying that what happened in September of that 2000, they're claiming that all that is and that's crazy. That's just crazy. The UN is being used as an evil global cabal to erode American sovereignty. NWO, the UN, and that's actually true. 4 presidents have actually signed that into existence over the last, and I can prove it to you. I've even got a video of it. And we're not conspiracy theorists. They're trying to make you think conspiracy theorists are anti-government, just like it says there, anti-government. We're not anti-government. We're anti-being lied to. That's all. So, one of the two things that I want you to look at, which is important, is their use of materials. So they used Wikipedia, conspiracy theories, working paper, George Washington University program on extremism, conspiracy theories in the Patriot Militia movement. George Washington University program of extremism provides analysis on issues related to violent and non-violent extremism. So if you remember, I reported on what happened earlier in El Paso, Texas. Well, there is actually one of the people from the George Washington University program on extremism. She was actually, her name is JJ McNabb, and it's JJ MacNab. If you go back to my Twitter, you can see that. And after I read this, I connected the dots. Well, that JJ McNabb followed the guy who did the violent act in El Paso. She's the same person. This is the same person that you're reading about. She does that program there. JJ McNabb. research paper demos the power of unreasoned conspiracy theorists, extremism, and counterterrorism. Demos is a think tank based in the United Kingdom with a cross-party political viewpoint. Online news articles, New York Times, they created a Muslim enclave in upstate New York. Then came the online conspiracies. You know, that's, like I said, that's a bunch of bull crap. All this, the whole thing, that's how I know that the FBI the reason why they put this out. So what they claim is political fringe extremism, basically, is P-gate. High-ranking Democratic officials are or were involved in child trafficking ring centered at the Comet Ping Pong Pizza restaurant in D.C. So it just so happens that the main conspirator out of Pizzagate, or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. They're going to block the shit out of me. Out of P-gate was just arrested 2 weeks ago. And then all of a sudden this document comes out, and they used and there are two, Chrissy, what's up? And the two things they use are about the fringe political stuff, are the child trafficking stuff. That's their two main ones right there. That's the only thing they have listed as the two main ones. And the QAnon, an anonymous government official known as Q, posts classified information online to reveal a covert effort led by President Trump to dismantle a conspiracy involving deep state actors and global elites allegedly engaged in international child trafficking ring. All that was just proven true 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, I just debunked this whole freaking article. You know, I just debunked everything they just said in this article. And nobody's going to read it because the mainstream media is telling people, hey, this is what you should take out of the article. And that's what people are going to do because they don't know any better. And, you know, that's crazy for, and now this document, the document's all over the media. The document's all over the media, and nobody's going to read it. Nobody ever reads the documents. So, you know, if you're just now joining, you know, you know, I answer people back. If you have a question, I'll answer you back. You know, so. So basically, like I said, this document was leaked out on purpose. It was given to the media in order for the public to change, to have a certain view on conspiracy theorists. Or, you know, and that includes Planet X people. That includes Dutch Sense. That includes myself. That includes Maverick Star. That includes Marfugel. I mean, you name it, and that's who it includes. That includes what's his name, who does the Ebola stuff. You know, that, and they not only did they say, you know, did they just not point out QAnon or you know, Q or Anonymous? They pointed out truthers and preppers and people who just don't have that much trust in the government because they lie so much. You know, and that's not what they labeled as conspiracy in this thing is not what conspiracy theorists really are. And to me, conspiracy theorists are, once you give that name to anybody, the public just they shun you. And actually, that is a career killer for any professional, any scientist or professional that isn't on board with the public view, or whatever the mainstream says. If a scientist says, well, I found information that proves that what you've been saying for 40 years is incorrect, well, the first thing they do is say, hey, we have to prevent this person from going public, and the only way to do that is to ruin his career and call him a conspiracy theorist. And they do it constantly. Thanks, Chrissy. I appreciate that. I try to do my best with the research. So, if, basically what's going on is, the if you look at this document, the source summary statement, that's the very first thing I read. That's what got my attention. And the very first thing I read was that. And all of it was hearsay, every bit of it. They used intelligence gained from one person that knew another person, and the FBI didn't have direct contact to that person, but so basically they knew a guy that knew a guy that had information on conspiracy theories. So they used, the their source was a middleman. And instead of actually going and talking with actual conspiracy theorists and and anonymous people, instead of doing that, they had to do hearsay stuff. And that's basically what it's reading right there. You can read it yourself. So basically, as I said, and I know I keep repeating myself, but you don't understand how bad this document makes people look. And now people are going to actually, the public is going to think that conspiracy theorists are terror. They're extremists. And that's not good. And the public, and that's how the public works. That's how majority of it works. Whatever they see on the news, whatever somebody sees on the news, they repeat. And they just take the news at their word. Well, when you have CNN that's biased against Republicans, and then you have Fox News that's biased against Democrats, and they are always throwing out opinion constantly, and how are you supposed to know or believe what facts they're telling out? The news does not give very many facts at all. Very much. They don't do it at all anymore. There is no investigative journalism going on anymore. So, like I said, this document, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, it's nothing more than reverse psychology. That's all it is. The FBI's not even going, I guarantee you, when I get my emails back, they're not even going to say that this has anything to do with them. And I guarantee that, because this only goes to the FBI field office in Phoenix. There's no other sources. And they want this to go out to law enforcement for training purposes. Saying that conspiracy theorists are they're violent people. They're white extremists. They're not neo-Nazis or whatever. And they're trying to make them look that way. So, they're trying to make, as I said, they're trying to make, people like Dutch and people like Marfugel and Homegrown and Blue Kool-Aid and anybody who has a conspiracy theory about anything, they're trying to make them look like they're a bunch of white extremists. And they're trying to make you seem like you're violent and you're going to go do something bad to a group of people. I don't know of, like I said, I don't know of any one of them that said anything bad about any group of people at all, or even have that view. Most of the conspiracy theorists on YouTube have call-in shows. What do you think? They vet what color you are? They don't even vet what you believe. And I've heard some crazy stuff on some crazy callers, man. I have. So, like I said, I just wanted to show you all this stuff and what they're doing. If the thing about the UN, right? So, the New World Order and what the UN did. The FBI claiming that people believe in the New World Order, and the United Nations is involved in creating a one world government. They are. And it started back in the 1970s, and if I can remember what it's called. And I'm not using this article. I'm just trying to find what the does any of you all remember oh, I remember. So, Agenda 21, Sustainable Development Platform. 1992, Bush, actually Reagan was part of this, to be honest with you. Reagan, from Reagan all the way up. Let's see, George Bush signed the declaration that they would commit to this thing, and then Bill Clinton actually signed them up for it to say that yes, we will permanently be a part of this thing. And then George W. Bush actually said, signed up and said, made an executive order saying that we were officially starting to convert over to follow Agenda 21. So Agenda 21 is just that. So the fact that the FBI labels it as a conspiracy theory, and why they do, is beyond me, when the proof is there. It's not like people make this crap up. It's not like people make this crap up for no reason. And that's just stupid, and that's what this document is for. I mean, every thing, example they used in this was every example of extremism from that they said was associated with conspiracy theorists was all the all the the school events that happened, all the school events that happened. That's what they are trying to get people to think, that conspiracy theories are the same people who do that. And it's not. It's and like I said, and to what I said with this article is that basically, no, the FBI has not labeled conspiracy theorists as domestic violent groups. They have not. They let the media do that for them. That's what that is. They gave the media the platform. They gave the media what the paper, and the media made up their own thing. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. The CIA does the same thing. And people don't understand that. And as I said, I've debunked this whole thing. This whole thing that the FBI has said, I've debunked all of it. So, so do not take this as, whatever the media is telling you, don't take that, don't, nobody is, a conspiracy theorist is not a domestic tea that's going to show up at somebody's Walmart, man. Oh yeah, Chrissy, they're doing horrible things to content creators. Horrible things. Myself, I'm fighting copyright infringements on videos on music and content that I don't even have in my videos. And they're wanting to take one of my videos down that shows that basically shows that the United States is legalizing organ transplant, is researching 3D organ transplant, or the I'm sorry, not that it eventually will be 3D organ transplants, but the creation of organs through a 3D printer. And they started doing that, and researchers started they 3D printed a heart. Well, the government is allowing it to go through basically because they can make money off of it. So they're making it go through. So that was what that video was about, and I showed parts of the video, parts from the movie called The Repo Man, or Repo Man, where the guys go after people's organs that hadn't paid. And I said, this is exactly how our world's going to end up being like if we allow 3D transplanted organs. I mean, it's a good thing, but I know the reason that the government's doing it is because it's a moneymaker. It's an insurance thing. So they're going to allow that. And that, yeah, I try not to be like the mainstream media. I try my best not to be like them. And I try my best not to get information from them, because majority of their information is either they don't give it or they're told not to give it. I even do a video on that, on how the mainstream media gets their news and how that news is spread. And it's a close-knit connection. And it all started with the CIA back in the 1970s, where the CIA was teaching classes in Georgetown University in Washington D.C. and or wherever I think Georgetown's in Washington. I think Washington D.C. or near there. So the CIA released a document showing how they manipulated journalists at a young age, at a young education, to get what they wanted them to say and what they wanted them to print. And they released that information, and they still do it. And the government, and the government releases that information through what's called news embargoes. And you can look that up. It's not hard to look up. Just look up news embargoes, and it tells you exactly what it is. And they can stop information. They can stop any information they want. If they don't want the mainstream media not to publish a certain amount of information, or a particular thing, all they got to put on there is a news embargo and say expiration date none, and they won't ever be able to report it. So, like I said, I just wanted to let people know what this document was about, and I'm going to jump off here. I'm tired, and I hope you all have a good day, and I hope you all like this video explaining what that FBI document was. And basically it's just a bunch of phooey McPhooey shit, and that's what it is. And the FBI technically released it, but the media said that it was magically handed to them, and they picked it up in the Arizona field office, and nobody even gave it to them. So whoever the media outlet was that first got it stole it from the FBI. That's basically what they're saying. So, like I said, no, you are not on a government. If you're a conspiracy theorist, no, you are not on a government watch list for being a domestic tea. They just put this out to make you think that you are. And that's how that goes. Everything in this article is untrue, and I debunked it just in like 10 seconds of reading it. So it even tells you that it even tells you in the little box right there that it's hearsay. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to jump off here. Christy, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. American Patriot, thanks for watching. Brian Woodring, thanks for watching. And anybody else who didn't comment, I appreciate you all watching. And I hope you all have a good night. And I'm going to try to do more live shows, and I'm actually going to try to do a live call-in show. And like I said, I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you all know any friends, send them my way over to the Disclosure TV. So, all right. This is Disclosure TV, and we are out of here.
This is not a test.